A single cup of dirt, 2 pieces of scrap metal, and a glowing LED light. No batteries, no solar panels, no power grid. Just a handful of wet earth from your backyard, a copper wire, and a zinc nail, producing real, measurable electricity right now. That setup costs less than $5 total. And the $3 trillion global energy monopoly has spent decades making sure you never learned how to build it. They've convinced you that storing off-grid power requires a $10,000 lithium wall battery or a diesel generator or some subscription to a smart grid system. They've made you dependent, and they've done it on purpose. Because the moment you understand what I'm about to show you, their entire business model starts to crack. This isn't a theory. This is electrochemistry. And it's been buried since 1841. Welcome to the Buried Blueprint. I'm glad you found this channel, because what we do here is dig up the knowledge that corporations spend billions to keep underground. If you believe that information like this should be free, hit subscribe right now and ring that bell. Every single video we release gets suppressed. Your subscription is the only way to make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Now let's go. Before we talk about the future of energy, we need to go back nearly 200 years. The year is 1841. A Scottish clockmaker and inventor named Alexander Bain is working on something the world has never seen before. He doesn't have lithium, he doesn't have cobalt, he doesn't have a power plant. What he has is the earth beneath his feet. Bain buries 2 different metal rods into the ground, separated by distance, and discovers that the naturally occurring minerals and moisture in the soil create a voltage difference between them. He calls it the Earth Battery, and he uses it to power the world's first experimental electric telegraph clocks. It works, continuously, for free, without fuel, without replacement parts. Just the ground. This technology then gets quietly adopted into early telegraph infrastructure across the United States and Europe. Long stretches of telegraph line would tap into earth batteries at relay stations to boost signal and maintain power. It was practical, it was proven, it was dirt cheap, literally. And then, like so many things that threatened to give people genuine independence, it slowly disappeared from public education, from engineering textbooks, from hardware store conversations. Not because it failed, but because it couldn't be monetized the way the industry needed it to be. Here's the part that should make you angry. In the 1800s and early 1900s, earth battery technology was an active area of scientific research. Publications documented it, engineers used it. But as centralized power grids started forming in the early 20th century, as utility companies began consolidating control over electricity distribution, the incentive to educate the public about decentralized, self-sufficient energy generation disappeared overnight. Because, think about it, if you can generate a trickle charge from a cup of dirt in your backyard, you start asking questions. You start wondering why your utility bill goes up every year. You start wondering why you're told you need a $5,000 solar inverter just to go partially off-grid. You start wondering why the battery in your phone and your car degrades on a programmed schedule and needs to be replaced on their timeline, not yours. The answer is always the same. It cannot be patented. It cannot be sold back to you. Wet dirt with copper and zinc creates electricity through a process that has been understood for over a century and a half. There is no proprietary formula. There is no trade secret. There is nothing to protect, nothing to license, nothing to charge you for. And in an industry built entirely on charging you, that is an existential threat. Look at what the modern energy monopoly has created. International proxy wars fought over lithium deposits in South America and cobalt mines in the Congo, where children are working in conditions most Americans would consider criminal. Supply chains locked down by governments acting in partnership with tech giants. And here in the United States, you are told that your choices are stay on the grid and pay whatever they charge, or spend anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 up front on a home battery storage system that will degrade within a decade and need to be replaced. The average contractor quote for a basic backup battery installation runs between $8,000 and $12,000, a basic earth battery array, under $10, total, no degradation timeline. No supply chain, no lithium, no cobalt, just copper, zinc, and the ground under your house. Before I give you the exact formula, I need to tell you something important. This earth battery is just one document in a much larger archive that the industry has worked hard to bury. There are dozens of techniques just like this one: lost construction methods, forgotten preservation compounds, off-grid water systems, survival energy solutions that were standard knowledge for previous generations and have been quietly removed from modern education. I've compiled all of them into what we call the Complete Buried Blueprint Vault, and the link is in the description below. It's dozens of classified DIY and survival guides, all in one place. Check it out after this video. But stay right here, because exactly how you apply this changes everything. The way you connect these cells is what separates a flickering light from a stable power source. Don't skip this part. Let's talk about why this works. Because understanding the science is what will make you trust it completely. What you are building is called a galvanic cell. It is one of the most fundamental concepts in all of chemistry. When two different metals are placed in a conductive solution, and soil moisture loaded with dissolved minerals is absolutely a conductive solution, electrons begin to flow from one metal to the other. In this case, the copper wire acts as your cathode, the positive terminal. The zinc coating on your galvanized nail acts as your anode, the negative terminal. The wet dirt between them acts as your electrolyte, the medium through which ions travel to complete the circuit. The zinc slowly gives up electrons through a process called oxidation. Those electrons travel through your external wire, through your LED bulb, producing light and return through the copper. The key word here is series circuit. One dirt cell might only produce around half a volt. That's not enough to power most electronics on its own. But when you connect multiple cells in a series, positive terminal to negative terminal, positive to negative, you stack those voltages. 6 cells can produce enough voltage to light a standard LED. 12 cells start to get into radio territory. 20 cells, and you're charging small USB devices with a solar charge controller. This is not a trick. This is not a demonstration gimmick. This is first principles electricity generation that you can scale in your kitchen with materials from any hardware store. Commercial lithium batteries don't just store energy better because of superior chemistry. They store energy better because billions of dollars in research went into optimizing them for maximum profitability and minimum lifespan. The Earth battery isn't optimized for profit. It's optimized for permanence. As long as the soil stays moist, the reaction continues. Now let me give you the exact recipe. Here is everything you need. Go to any hardware store or dollar store and pick up a plastic ice cube tray or a set of small plastic cups. That's your cell housing. Pick up a spool of bare copper wire, not insulated, bare copper, usually around $2 to $3. Pick up a box of galvanized nails or galvanized screws. Galvanized means zinc coated. This is critical. Do not substitute regular steel nails. The zinc coating is your anode. No zinc, no reaction. You also want a pack of standard 5mm LED bulbs, which run on very low voltage, perfect for this application. A few alligator clip wires will make your connections much easier. That's everything. Total cost, $3 to $5 if you shop carefully. Here is what you do. Fill each cup or compartment of your ice cube tray with dirt or compost from outside. It needs to be moist, not muddy, not soupy, just damp like a well-watered garden. If your dirt is dry, add a small amount of water and mix it in. Press one copper wire segment into one side of the cup. Press one galvanized nail into the other side of the same cup. They must not touch each other inside the dirt. That's your first cell. Now, to connect cells in series, take a wire and connect the copper of cup number 1 to the nail of cup number 2. Then connect the copper of cup number 2 to the nail of cup number 3. You are always connecting copper to nail, down the entire chain. Finally, connect your LED light between the free copper end of the first cup and the free nail end of the last cup. Close that circuit and your LED will illuminate. Now here is an important note on safety and handling. The voltage produced by this system is extremely low. We're talking fractions of a volt per cell, well below any threshold that could cause harm to a person. This is not a lead-acid battery. There are no explosive hydrogen gases being vented. This is not a lithium cell. There is no fire risk, no thermal runaway, no toxic electrolyte to worry about. It is genuinely one of the safest energy experiments you can perform. That said, galvanized zinc does contain trace metals, so use clean soil from an uncontaminated area of your yard, not soil near old pipes or treated wood. And wash your hands after handling the galvanized nails, standard hygiene. Keep it away from children who might taste the materials. That's the full safety picture, simple and manageable. Let me put this in perspective for you. The setup you just built cost under $5. In some cases, if you already have copper wire lying around, under $2. A licensed electrician or contractor installing a home backup battery system will charge you anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 for a lithium-ion setup that will begin degrading in capacity within 5 years and require a complete replacement within 10. The companies selling those systems need you to believe that electricity storage is a high-technology luxury available only through them, maintained only by them, and replaced only on their schedule. What Alexander Bain proved in 1841, what the telegraph operators demonstrated across the American frontier, what basic electrochemistry confirms every single time you complete this circuit, is that the Earth itself is a battery. The knowledge was always free. The industry just made sure nobody was teaching it anymore. That ends here. If this video showed you something real, something they don't want you to know, do not let it die on your feed. Share it. Send it to someone who is off the grid or trying to get there. Send it to someone paying $800 a month in energy bills. Share it with anyone who has ever been told that energy independence is too expensive for regular people. Subscribe to this channel and ring that bell so you don't miss a single blueprint when it drops. The industry prays every single day that videos like this one stay buried. Your share is how we keep digging. The next blueprint opens soon, and what's inside is even heavier.